Hello everybody, it is Tara Boothby from Sojourn Psychology, and we are very excited because we have another new psychologist, and this is Aminata Marah.
Yes.
And she's a provisional psychologist, so nice to have you here.
Thank you, thank you.
You're so welcome. So I guess when people ask you, Aminata, what it means for you to be a psychologist, how do you explain that to people?
I think it's a good question.
It is a great question.
Because I feel like often the way people assume it to be is that, we're just these people that just help people just because, there's a need for it. But I think for me, the more I've been able to be exposed to clients and then also other professionals, I'm learning that for me, what it means to be a psychologist is really to get the opportunity to go through this journey with people beyond just helping, right? To be able to, perspective take, to be able to support, to be able to hold space, to be able to feel with them, to be able to process with them, to be able to journey with them.
Yeah. That's beautiful. And so I like how you said that, the journey and perspective and all those things. And it's about people's humanity then.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's a hard thing to try and explain, hey?
It definitely is.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
definitely is.
And so what are your favorite sort of models or different ways that you like to help clients?
School definitely didn't teach it too well in terms of, making you think that you have to be one way.
Yeah.
Coming into a field like this, because I'm realizing it's completely not like that.
Yeah.
And I'm also learning that everybody has a natural direction that they go in. So for me, I'm discovering that that's really EFT.
Yeah.
As much as I did not think like that in terms of, I'm very much I like the structure type of stuff, but I'm realizing when I'm sitting there with these clients, I'm wondering how are you feeling, and how has that impacted you? What happened before where you are now in terms of childhood, and what are your relationships like, or attachments like? So I would say EFT has become a more of a favorite, but I still I'm interested in exploring the CBT aspect of things as well, and the somatics.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So then emotion work, the CBT, cognitive behavioral stuff, and then the body pieces, and they all go together so well because we're whole people.
Exactly.
Yeah. So and then it sounds like you are very curious about people. So you're having a fun time discovering about your clients.
Yes. Yeah. Beyond their problem, or beyond the challenges that they bring. Right? So it's sort of yes, this is what you brought, and I'm here to work through it with you, but I want to know you too.
Yeah. So you that's so, I think that's good for people to know. So as a clinician, you like people. And
I love people.
You love people. And then, so with your clients, you're not just trying to do a job, or they come in and say, this is distressing for me. You're also really honoring of getting to know them as a person.
Yeah, yeah. And I think a part of that is because that's always what I wanted.
Yeah.
When I connect with people, it's more than just no information about me. It's get to know my story.
Yes.
And my journey, my process leading up to this point, as opposed to okay, I see a problem, let me give you a solution so I can see the next person or thing.
Yeah, that's interesting, Aminata. I've been thinking a lot about listening lately, and so listening to people's story is also something that you just value. And then it sounds and then I'm going to throw it out there and you make it better. But what I think I hear you saying is listening to people's stories, you're picking up clues, you're picking up pieces of information, and then you're curious to find out more.
Yeah.
And somehow that helps them.
Yeah. Yeah. It's in the, like you said, it's in the listening, and the client knowing that this person sees me beyond that everybody else around me has sort of said, go and fix.
Right.
Yeah.
And then what's special about you is you will work with like a diverse population, right? So like what ages why do you like working with all the ages that you work with?
Because it's quite wide.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I'll start with the kids because I've really been enjoying that more.
Yes.
I didn't get a lot of experience in that in practicum, but now like Sojourn has like allowed or like opened that door for me, so it's been really great. And I think it's because like I see a part of myself in them.
Yeah.
In these kids where I'm just like, I kind of used to be like this, like young but really mature, like able to think beyond certain things or feel beyond certain things. And then when you get to like the more middle age group that I sort of also see, I think I see like older people who didn't get to have much of a childhood too. So it all sort of connects for me.
Ah, so you're sort of looking for everybody's child, and
we're gonna heal here so you can live your best life here.
Yeah, that's neat. So it's like, we'll say, be who you needed when you were younger, but you kind of do that with your clients where you're like, I see this 7-year-old, or I see this 15-year-old, or this 24-year-old, or 34-year-old, or 44-year-old, and you're like, I'm just being the person that needs to see you. Yeah. So you're always finding the child in your clients. Aww. That resonates with me because I think I do that too. That makes sense. And so you'll work with all these ages, and then what about sort of topics that you really care about working with clients? So sense of self, it sounds like identity is a big piece.
Yes, especially in the world that we live today. So identity is huge. Has been like a really special client issue. To me, like to be able to work with. And then I'll also say emotion regulation, just tying it back to being able to build that foundational piece as early as possible, or rather even seeing clients that didn't necessarily get that, and now they're 30, they're 40, and it's like they're having all these issues. But just falling more in love with the understanding that that is so detrimental, or can be so detrimental to a person's development throughout life. So emotion regulation has been another one. I have a peaking interest in like clinically diagnosed.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, when you are getting mentored by Lisa Rowbottom, then you
kind of have to.
Well, you can really learn a lot about supporting people with diagnoses, mental health diagnoses.
And that population, like my heart really aches because like I feel like they're so misunderstood, or
there's
not
still
properly
stigma
represented.
Yes, and we're still growing in our understanding of different mental health diagnoses, and it is different, you know, childhood diagnosis versus adolescent, young adult diagnosis. So that's important too. And emotion management. When I heard you say that, it's like, well, that when we focus on feelings, there's all of the different types of emotion. So if you're working with emotional regulation, that can be anger, that can be anxiety, that can be sadness or grief. That there's
so much.
It's such a good way of viewing the work.
So I kind of get the best of both worlds here, actually. This is my EFT mentor, and then I have the more clinical diagnosed mentor as well.
And it is nice that we have that here, and then we just have such a lovely group. So for you, you're finding your footing, and you're really open to working with, a diverse age group and all sorts of client problems. We don't always know what people are going to bring in here either. Is that the good thing? So that's good. And then I'm just thinking, what about you as a person? Like, you are an interesting woman.
How?
Well, I think your creativity and things like that. So if clients were curious about a little bit about you,
what do I do outside of the room? So I'm a creative. I tend to hide that aspect of myself, actually.
I know.
So I'm surprised I even shared it. But I love music.
Yeah.
Like, I am always hearing music, always listening to music. I live in music, I don't know, or sound.
Yes. It's like your worldview is like you see life as music.
Yeah. And through that, being able to express certain things that we aren't necessarily always able to through just conversation.
Yeah.
That's kind of like my hiding place.
Yeah, that's
So
special.
Yeah.
And I think that it's good for clients to know because we do get some very creative clients or parents have a creative child.
Yes.
And so it's nice to know. It's like, well, that's another way you can bond with the poets, the lyricists, the musicians, the singers, songwriters.
Yeah. So I do music, and I have a massive family, so I'm always around family.
Oh, you get family.
Yeah.
You get family dynamics.
Well, I wouldn't not family, nieces and nephews, which are family, but I like kids, so I spend a lot of time with my nieces and my nephews.
And young people really connect well with you. I think all of
because I look like a kid.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not bad. In this field, we always want to look a little bit older than we are until we're old, and then we're like, oh, maybe I want to look young again.
Yeah.
But I think that's the other thing. Like kids and adolescents definitely connect with you, and you have figured out how to build rapport naturally with them. Well, I think all of your clients, like your clients, seem to like you. Hey?
I mean, they keep coming back.
They do keep coming back. So you're easy to connect with. And you care about people.
Yes.
And then you do have really great training, and you are curious and sharing this space with Lisa and I and the other clinicians. So Aminata's amazing. She's great. We're happy to have her here. Anything else that you'd like to say about yourself or therapy?
This is the start of my journey, and I'm just so excited, honestly, for what lies ahead, both in growth, experience, and relationship building.
Yeah, that's a lovely thing to say, and we're just so glad to have you here. And I'm thoroughly impressed with you so far, and I think that being able to connect with clients is not something that is easy. And you already know, you're like, I know how to get with people, and they're gonna feel good about who they are, and it definitely seems like that's what the clients are experiencing here. So
it's exciting.
Yeah, awesome. So if you want to see Aminata, she's at Sojourn Psychology, and yes. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.